Google Tag Manager tracks certain information by default and then makes it available to you in variables called built-in variables. In this video, I will quickly go over the built-in variables so that you can get an idea about what's available. I will go into the depth of these variables as required in this course. So let's go to Google Tag Manager and look at built-in variables. In Google Tag Manager, click on Variables. There are two sections on this page, built-in variables and user-defined variables. Our focus for this video is built-in variables. This lists all the built-in variables that you can currently use in any tag, trigger, or other variables. However, there are a lot more built-in variables available for you. In order to use them, you have to click on Configure. This gives you the complete list of built-in variables. For you to use any of these variables in Google Tag Manager, you have to click the check box next to them. So that's why you'll see all these checked variables are listed here. As you check them, they will start to be listed here. And if you uncheck them, then they are no longer available for you to use. These variables are grouped based on the information they provide. I'm going to go through all of them one by one so that you can understand what's available here. The first section here provides all the information about the current page the user is on. Page URL provides the complete URL of the page, including any query parameters, but no hash fragments. Page hostname provides the host name of the page. That's the domain name of your site. Page path contains the path portion of your URL. So anything after your domain name and before the query parameters or hash fragments is contained in this variable. This includes your directories, subdirectories, and the actual page name. And referrer contains the information about the referrer that sent the user to this page. It could be an internal referrer, such as the previous page, or it could be an external referrer, such as a search engine, social media, etc. In the utilities section, you have certain information about your container and the environment. First is the event. This event is the current value of event in a data layer. We will cover data layer a bit later in the course. So don't worry if you don't understand it right now. Then you have the environment name. This is the name of your Google Tag Manager environment. So examples might be live, QA, UAT, etc. Then you have the container ID. This is the ID of your container or Google Tag Manager. Container version gives you the current version this container was invoked in. Random number just gives you a random number. HTML ID contains the ID of the custom HTML tag. We will cover custom HTML tag later in the course. Next, you have the error messages. These are all the error messages that are returned if there is a problem in JavaScript. So you got the message here, the URL where the error occurred, the specific line in the code where this error occurred in JavaScript. And then you have true or false value indicating if your container is in debug mode or not. So if it's in debug mode, then this variable will contain true, else it'll contain false. Under clicks, there are a few variables that collect information about something that was clicked by the user. So if a user clicks on a link or a button, that information gets captured and then it's stored in different variables. Click element contains a string value that tells you which element was clicked. Click classes captures the class attribute of the element that was clicked. So all the classes that are attached to that element will be stored in click classes. Click ID is the ID attribute of the element that was clicked. If you're not familiar with the attributes of an element in HTML, then make sure to take an intro course in HTML that'll help clarify these. Each element on your web page generally has a bunch of attributes. Class and ID are two of them. However, depending on the element, there could be other attributes as well. In case of a link, you'll generally find a click target attribute and a click URL attribute. Click target contains the value of the target attribute. Click URL contains the value of the URL where the user will be taken when he or she clicks on that element. And click text is the actual text that's shown to the user. For example, here is a GAID text, When I click on this text, it'll take me to a page. That page is contained in click URL, while GAID will be stored as click text. I'm going to provide you another example here because this is an important concept that you will be using over and over again in Google Tag Manager. So I'm going to go to Opticent Academy and show you a real link. Here I'm on Opticent Academy. On this page, I have several resources. So I'm going to scroll down here and we will look at this particular link. This text that's showing up right here is captured in click text. When I click on this link, it'll take me to Amazon. That URL that it'll take me to is captured in click URL. There are other attributes as well. So let me show you those attributes. In order to see those attributes, right click on this element and click on inspect. This will open up the developer tools window where you can see all the attributes of this element and other information. This A right here means it's an anchor tag. That means it's a clickable link. This element has several attributes. First one is data unique ID. And after the equal sign, there is the value of that attribute. Similarly here, href attribute, and the value is this. That's the information that's captured in click URL. Then you have another attribute and the value of that attribute. Then you have the target attribute, which contains the target information and it's captured in click target variable. Then you have ID attribute and the value that's captured in click ID. There is class attribute. This is captured in click classes. There are two classes here, O-link and Z-link. And if you expand this element, you can see the text that's captured in click text. Similar to clicks, there is also information about the forms. There is form element, form classes, ID, target, URL, text. So these are very similar to clicks. Then you have history elements. History elements are generally used to track single page applications. The URL of the page never changes in the sites that are built using single page application. In that scenario, Google Tag Manager allows you to read the browser history, which keeps track of the content that user viewed. Using these variables, you can find out what content user is viewing and use them in your tracking. This is an advanced topic, and I'm not going to go into detail at this point. Next, you have video tracking variables. These variables keep track of embedded YouTube videos on your site. You have video provider, which is the name of the provider. Currently, only YouTube is supported. That means it'll always contain YouTube. Video status stores the state of the video at any given point. This includes states such as play, pause, stop, etc. Video URL contains the URL of that video on YouTube. Video title stores the title of the video. Video duration variable stores the length of the video in seconds. Video current time is the current time that the user is at in the video. As user is playing the video, it keeps track of that information. Video percent captures the percentage of the video that has been played, and video visible tracks if the video was visible to the user on their screen or not. Next, you have the information about scrolling. User can scroll up or down or left or right depending on the design of your website. Scroll depth threshold keeps track of how far the user has scrolled. So it could be a percentage or pixel. You can set that up. Then you have scroll depth units, which is the unit that you are using for scroll depth threshold. So if you are using percentage, this will be percent, or it'll be pixels if you're using pixels here. Then you have the scroll direction, which keeps track of the direction user is scrolling. It can have either of two values, horizontal for left or right scroll and vertical for up and down scroll. Finally, you have the visibility information. This keeps track of the visibility of various elements on your site. First one allows you to track what percent of that element or that area on your screen was visible to the users, and then how long was that visible is captured in the on-screen duration variable. Now you have an idea about what variables are already available for you to use. We will cover these variables as required throughout this course. The purpose of this video was to make you aware of what's available in built-in variables. Go ahead and become familiar with all these variables, and I will see you in the next video.